What's up, guys? And so we got the official trailer for Loki season 2 officially released, and from what we can tell based on this new season of Loki, it looks crazy, it looks insane, and for all it sets up the future of the MCU, especially with the multiverse saga, and with King the Conqueror, and even Loki as we know him as the god of mischief, so suddenly turning it into time travel now, and we see the return of Loki and Mobius, the amazing duo, and even for what we can tell from this new season is going to be crazy as well, and so this will be my trailer breakdown of all the Easter eggs and stuff that they may miss in this trailer, and to talk about some predictions that I might have, especially for what we're about to expect in a new season of Loki as well. And so if you're new here and don't subscribe this, be sure to subscribe, click the bell, so it's on future videos like this. So let's get into it. And now we open the trailer on Loki and Mobius going to a repair shop, and we see him visiting Obi, played by Kiki Kwan, who's making his debut in the MCU, and as we saw him from his previous work, from Everything Everywhere All at Once and the Temple of Doom, and now making his debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Plus, I love him as an actor, and I can't wait to see him in the show. And even so, with Mobius, I tells him that with Loki, like he's been slipping through time, and from what we can tell that like even with the many variants are king that are all set on war, and even with the TVA that like Loki has to save, and even with everything else, and then not even with Loki himself saying that he's been at times slipping through the present and the past. And now even with Mobius asking Obi if he can fix it, and he says no, and even that I saying that it's impossible to at times through the TVA, but even as we saw in the first season of Loki, like he ended up in like an alternate version of the TVA where in fact he saw like a statue of King where he's taking over, and now with multiple variants of King are coming, and even as we saw Loki time slipping. And now for what we see here is that with Loki, he's obviously slipping through time through like the past and the present, and that's what he's been doing. And even with like the tagline within this new season is like a time is running out, and even with Loki that's how time slipping, and for what we can see here is obviously King of the Conqueror, even with the timekeepers that we saw in the first season of Loki. In fact, and like the only time that we've seen Jonathan Majors as King is right here in the shot with the Victor Timely King variant for when Loki and Mobius are going back in time to learn about the origin of the TVA, and obviously it's like the only shot of Jonathan Majors that we have in the show. It's because even before all of his legal troubles, of course, and like so I think with King of the Conqueror, it was not going to be the original idea from Marvel Studios, but even so I think like something like crazy is about to go down in this new season. And now I do see Sylvia right here now she is working at a McDonald's, and plus as we saw in some photos, and now even with the purpose of Loki and Mobius and why they're time traveling, it's because they want to learn about the origin of the TVA, and even with a King of variants, and even for like who they're dealing with, and like even so like even with some details that are revealed for the show is that Loki is on a mission to save the soul and the TVA, and what it means to find like a glorious purpose and the search of free will, and that's for what we see here. And we also see the return of Hunter B-15, Roberta Renslayer, and Miss Minutes as well, and like especially with the Roberta Renslayer right here. And the last time that we saw her was at the end of season 1 when like she said like she was searching for free will, and now like she's gonna be looking for King, because in the comics Roberta Renslayer and King did fall in love. And also for like a detail that I want to point out, as we can see Loki who is slipping through time, and we can see him end up for a story called the Priya Sports, and we can see behind him are like a bunch of jet skis, and which in the first season of Loki when Mobius said this.
I ride a jet ski. That's what I like to do. Just riding around on my jet ski.
And even though with that story that Mobius he really was right on his jet ski, and at the end of the first season now like we didn't get to see that, but I just really hope at the end of this new season like we better see Mobius riding on a jet ski. And now from when we can see Loki and Mobius having a conversation, and when Mobius he says to Loki, and that like it takes a more like a severe like approach, and what that means is that Loki ends up in an alternate version of the TVA where Mobius Hunter B-15 don't know who he is, and even with Loki and Mobius that work together to be a great duo, especially in this new season, and what we can see right here is a London theater. Which we saw in set photos with Loki and Mobius that are in tuxedos, and we can see is a King's Tower from what we saw at the end of the first season of Loki when Loki and Sylvie went to visit He Who Remains, who in fact died, and unleashed the branch timelines, and even what that means that multiple King variants are coming. For who that we see in front of the London theater, this is actually Brad Wolf, aka known as a Zaniac, and we can see the movie premiere right here in London, and we can also see a poster behind him that says "Marry Me" of Brad Wolf, and even so, which we also in set photos, and even at so like even with Brad Wolf who actually gets possessed by an evil entity, and which is an old enemy of Thor, and that's why we see Loki and Mobius just like attack him, and we can see in parts of the trailer, we can also see Loki attacking him as well, so we could see a villain here in this new season. And now for what we can see here is Brad Wolf in a box, which is something tells us that like Loki and Mobius are going to be capturing him and taking him into the TVA. And now from what we've seen, I thought the remainder of the show is of course with Hunter B-15 or Renslayer is like with the previous characters were returning from the first season, and also for Miss Minutes. And from what we can tell like that they're actually in the old times back in the 1900s. And from what we can see here, this is a Victor Timely, another King variant, in which we saw in the Quantumania post-credit scene, and like we can see like Loki and Mobius learn about the origin story of the TVA with Victor Timely. He's an inventor from the past. He's like an old timely inventor, and what we can see here is a message just terrifying everyone, and even this is the only shot that we see of the Majors, especially with Marvel Studios at they thought with He Who Remains the King the Conqueror would be the next big battle, the one cycle, but this seems to be not be the case, and even so we're going to have to see what the future holds, especially for the next big battle, the Multiverse Saga. And now, as we hear Loki say, and that like way to choose who lives and who dies, and we also see the return of Casey from the first season of Loki, who we saw working behind the desk at the TVA. Now it's been revealed, and now Casey will have a big role in the show, and like especially for Loki saying this, especially with the purpose of the second season, that Loki is a battle for the soul of the TVA. And like, even for all of this gonna set up the Kang Dynasty, and most importantly Deadpool 3, it's because even with Seth Phillips, now we saw Deadpool and Wolverine in that is possibly the Void, and with the TVA that is gonna be heavily involved, with Owen Wilson's movies is also gonna be involved, and with the Deadpool and Wolverine is gonna be taken into the TVA, and even with the Kang Dynasty, and with how Loki season 2 will end, it will determine what will happen with Kang the Conqueror. And now I just see Loki look at a clock, and even though with the trailer it says the timeline is running out, he's racing to save the soul of the TVA, and that's why we see him in the show like glitching and time slipping through time, and even so that he's like glitching into a branch reality, and that's why we see Loki in an alternate version of the TVA, and now in the many variants of King that are coming in from what we can see on the wall here, like multiple variants of King, which means a Prime King, and even Nathaniel Richards, who is a descendant of Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. And now, as we've seen throughout some parts of the trailer, we can see Loki and Sylvia fighting together, and then we see Red Slayer and One Shot looking like she's about to attack someone, so we see things in the TVA that's like being attacked, and we also see the statue of King, who we also saw at the end of Loki's season 1, and then even with the trailer that ends with Loki fighting a bunch of TVA agents, and then it cleanly transitions into the title card, and plus this is something that I'm really looking forward to in this new season of Loki, of course, and even so, like he's in a battle for the soul of the TVA. And now, with the trailer, it ends with Loki and Mobius and London, and then with Mobius, like he says, a little over the top, don't you think? And then we see a bunch of Loki variants, and then we see probably a Red Slayer on a boat and Loki falling, and even as we see in the shot right here, it looks like a Red Slayer is like looking at something, and this background could be the void, but like, even though with the trailer that this already gets behind even for the new season of Loki, and plus we thought like the first season of Loki and the end of was like insane, and I think we're about to have big, huge things in store for Loki season 2. Yeah, so with my final thoughts, I gotta see with this show for Loki season 2 that's already gets hyped for what's in store for the second season. And plus, I love the first season of Loki, and if we thought that the first season of Loki was crazy about learning about timelines and branch timelines, and from the end of that for first season, like a little let us mind blown, and even for what we're about to see in Loki season 2 is totally a crazy stuff, especially with Loki who's a battle for the soul of the TVA, and with a Loki and Mobius, who are an amazing duo, and even with Sylvie, who's going to be involved, even with Red Slayer, Hunter B-15, and Miss Minutes, and even with the returning characters from season 1 and into this second season of the show. And I'm expecting a good television with this new season, and this looks like very cinematic. It looks like a real event, and this show already got me excited. I can't wait to see what's in store for Loki season 2 as well. And so that is going to be a first video. And let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments below, and what thoughts on my breakdown, and are there any Easter eggs and stuff that I may have missed that you didn't notice, and how sorry are you for the second season of Loki on Disney Plus? Let me know in the comments below. You can give this video a like and subscribe, and turn on notifications for future videos, and also follow my socials, which are linked down below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.